Welcome back, nerds. Fino here with a guide for the 9th anniversary guaranteed SSR banners. The idea is that you pick one, and only one of these, and you're guaranteed to get at least one of the pictured 5-star servants. You'll also get one of the limited 4-star servants as a bonus. The pool of servants is limited to those released alongside or after a Toria caster. I've picked out the 5 highest value banners for your consideration, but before I get to those, what, you think I was going to do a sponsor read? No, I just want to extend some recognition to the single worst banner of this entire set. The banners are grouped into themes like chocolate, animal friends, and friendship, presumably not with animals. One of these is Summer 1, but it should really be called the Washed Up banner, because it features the ever-so-seductive combination of Summer Kama and Summer Kiara. Both former AoE arts generalists who've been left to rot over the years through a combination of power creep and a lack of meaningful buffs. Rounding out this trio is Summer Abigail, a sleep debuff whose playstyle is irrelevant to 99% of masters. Honestly, the only way they could have made this banner any less appealing is if they replaced Abigail with Space Ishtar, so we could have the full spectrum of washed arts AoEs. Oh, wait, I got it. You know what they should have called this? The Nightmare Blunt Rotation banner. Yeah, you think you want to light up with Kama? Not when Kiara's around. Moving on to the actually good options, the best one if you have none of the servants is the Fae Round Table set. Castoria is the essential art support and defensive engine, so your first priority on pretty much any account is to get at least one copy of her. Oberon is a charge and burst damage support, and he's borderline required for consistent performance in high difficulty 90++ farming nodes, someone you should aim to get by the time you reach endgame. Queen Morgan is a strong AoE buster berserker, and she also has utility in her overcharge role, which lets her slot into the Immortal team with Castoria and one of the Merlins. You trap enemies in a situation where they can't hurt you, while they get slowly ground down through ship damage and repeated casts of Roadless Camelot. Melusine is a Lancer that can swap from single target arts to AoE buster, though this is a one-way trip. Her skill set lets her adapt to a wider range of enemy compositions than her competition, and is such a powerful beat stick that I used 2 copies of her as my main damage dealers for the onerous Grand Lancer duel. Unlike a lot of the other banners with meta supports, this one actually doesn't crater in value once you get Castoria or Oberon. All 4 of these servants get meaningful value from additional NP levels, Melusine and Morgan by virtue of being true attackers. Castoria has a noble phantasm that you can actually expect to cast in a real fight. Extra levels give you additional attack across your frontline, and also let you go above 100% charge, which gives you a buffer against charge drain mechanics. The most questionable one to go above NP1 is Oberon. He's a high-risk attacker, but there have been actual 90++ teams premised on having him attack to deal with at least one of the waves. Getting enough power on the Fairy King can open up these strategies to you, but they are admittedly niche. The point is that unless you have one or more of these servants at NP5, I'd keep an open mind about doubling back and hitting it. Another amazingly high-value banner, if you have none of the servants, is the Golden Sea of Trees. This features Koyanskaya of Light, Kukulkan, and Tezcatlipoca. Koyan Light is the meta buster support, and many buster servants rely on her cooldown reduction to double cast their skills. Also loop. So she's another support that's an extremely high priority to get one of. Kukulkan is one of the most dangerous all-rounders in FGO. She has a ridiculously versatile skill set, and once you get her in motion, she can devastate enemies with her Noble Phantasm, which dumps out a large number of stars. These you can use to activate additional effects in her skills, or go in for crits with one of her many buster cards. And get this, she's a potent weapon against foreigners despite being one herself, thanks to her class and anti-threat to humanity power mod. And she gets around her own weakness to this class with multiple defensive skills. Even at NP1, she can do some serious damage with her normal cards, and at higher levels, she can deal with a wide range of bullshit. And lastly, Tezcat is an AoE arts assassin who isn't quite as explosive at NP1, but his combination of utility, party buffs, party charge, and personal anti-buffs means he can grow into a strong, multi-core enabler. The downside to the coin banner is that at any NP level above 0, the Fox Lady herself becomes a significantly worse pull. She has an offensive Noble Phantasm, but unlike Oberon, is almost never in a position to actually fire it off in a real farming run. But if you already have your first copies of Castoria and Oberon, but not Koyan Light, this should be your next stop. My third recommendation is the Summer 2 banner. It's pretty much the opposite of Summer 1 in value, consisting of Lady Avalon, Summer Skadi, and Summer Ibuki. Lady Avalon aka Proto Merlin is an enabler for defensive, attritional setups like the Immortal team, due to, in part, her party invulnerability. Not to mention her Noble Phantasm gives recurring charge and max health across your frontline, the latter of which is de facto healing for most purposes. One thing she has over the original Merlin is party overcharge on demand. Given that you normally run her with Castoria, you can force a multi-stack NP out of her even if you manage to fumble your charge management on Lady Avalon or Morgan. You don't even have to run her in a slow slicing team. She's just one of the many options that makes Art's team so flexible, and you can run her as needed to adapt to the various gimmicks you encounter. Lady Avalon is an acceptable support to get multiple copies of, since her max health and charge regeneration effects scale with NP level. Summer Scotty is the primary quick support we currently have. She sacrifices what little defensive utility the original caster Scotty had in exchange for a more comprehensive buff package including party attack, quick and buster buffs, in addition to targeted charge, quick card type, buster crit buffs, and a stardom for better turn 1 plays. Summer Ibuki Doji was the biggest dick AoE Arts Ultra Generalist before Space Aresh, and unlike her rival, she has access to her full damage on turn 1. Combined with Berserker class interactions and an anti-buff against the Common Earth attribute, she provides a very straightforward way of dealing with most enemies. Her skill set is also quite good in multi-core team compositions, providing a party attack buff and targetable cooldown reduction to assist your single target component. Extremely strong in a vacuum, though if you've gone apeshit rolling for Space Aresh, Ibuki's value diminishes on account of them filling similar roles. But what if you're an old head? None of these banners appeal to you, because you already have one of every meta support. Well, that's where my final 2 recommendations come in. Summer 3 features the combination of Summer Castoria, Ash the Savior, and Summer Melusine. Zerktoria is the big prize here. I've talked about her at length in her own servant guide, but she's an incredibly overtuned single-target attacker who has anti-chaotic, anti-divine, and anti-threat to humanity damage. This, combined with her Berserker class, gives her coverage on the overwhelming majority of boss enemies. What's fucked up is that because many foreigner bosses are chaotic, divine, and threats to humanity, Zerktoria can threaten them through class disadvantage. She is, in essence, a single-target Ultra Generalist, and her skill set is well suited for multi-core farming as well. An outstanding pickup, and even if you have her at NP5 already, you could go for a 6th, which would put you in reach of going to level 120 with every append skill. Not that Berserkers need every append, but dick waving is one hell of a drug. Ash the Savior is one of those nutty anniversary servants, and her thing is that she has anti-evil damage tied to her NP level, so extra copies make her hit a lot harder in this niche. Also, as of this anniversary, Append 5 lets her Black Grail loop with 2 Coin Lights and an Oberon swap, so she's actually gotten much stronger. She's the servant that you desperately want above NP1, so your first copy won't feel too impactful, so I guess you can think of her more as a planning for the future type servant. Summer Melusine is the odd one out. She's not a bad servant in a vacuum, but she strikes me as an attacker designed for a single core approach. With an 80% battery and 2 Castorias at your back, you can power through some relatively obnoxious shit. But the second you try to fit her into a multi-core team, one where you also have to babysit a single target attacker, her lack of party buffs and the lumpiness of her battery means you have to make some pretty awkward decisions in terms of charge and buff management. And despite having an NP5 Smell 1 JP, I ended up washing my hands of it and going for Space Aresh instead. Less of a headache. And as you may have surmised from her role, Summer Melusine doesn't do much at NP1 either. Might not seem the most appealing banner in the world, but every banner is risk once you obtain the big ticket supports. Now we come to the Ordeal Call banner. Leading off in terms of value with Saber Medusa. She's one of the game's most valuable single-target sabers, and a sufficiently powerful copy is one of the better tools against the Grand Saber duel. Among her perks are a 50% battery and anti-buff against human attribute enemies, which happen to include one Miyamoto Musashi. The Count of Monte Cristo is the subject of a comically long video I did recently. Don't worry, most of that is the story segment. As for his gameplay, the TLDR is that as long as you can keep him charged up, he can chain stun the enemy of your choosing. He's good, though I often think of him more as a fun servant than someone you'd get for meta reasons. Durga's main appeal is that she becomes Blue Woman. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. She's an AoE arts archer that brutally power-crept Summer Jeanne before being brutally power-crept by an upgraded Miyamoto Musashi, this time her Berserker form. Down the road she'll also have to compete with the Archer of the Apocalypse, so Durga's days as a high-tier attacker have come and gone, but she still has a pretty solid and perfectly usable kit. She's just more of a choose-your-own-adventure servant nowadays. Lastly, we have Britomart. I did a video on her, which you should not watch unless you've taken acid, so unless you're an aspiring schizophrenic, I'll give you the short version here. AoE Quick Lancer. She's got super effective damage against riders and a power mod against the riding trait, so she can pull double duty against mixed formations of archers and riders. It's okay as far as gimmicks go, but to be completely honest, I haven't gotten much mileage out of her. And her niche is specific enough where she's a low priority when it comes to getting multiple copies, or even scaling up. Those are my formal recommendations, but I do have one last option to consider. The Borderless 2 banner features 3 collab servants, Aoko Awazaki, Konji Alice, and Ushigozen. The Mahoyo duo are a pair of choose-your-own-adventure servants, practical to an extent, but mostly fun picks with interesting mechanics. Aoko with her transformation and AoE cards, and Alice with her substitutes. Ushigozen is, last I checked, not the fun sort. I'm maxing her out because I'm a freak, but she's not really someone you want to pull willy-nilly. If you have 15 paid quartz burning a hole in your pocket and none of the other banners appeal to you, this one can give some entertaining results. So which banner do you plan to roll on? I went for the fun banner and naturally got Ushigozen. Saves me the trouble of taking her to Bond 14 at least. But yeah, like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, and come watch me at twitch.tv/Finotaisen where I stream every weekend, 3 p.m. Pacific time, Friday through Sunday. This week I've got Nikkei and Wamusume rolls on Friday, Super Battle Golf with subscribers on Saturday, and more FGO rolls on Sunday. So stop by if you want to hang out. See you there.